You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, just as predicted, Shedeur Sanders fell out of the first round of the National Football League draft that was held last night for really all kinds of reasons. Now, let us be aware of something here. If these guys perceived him as having Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, even to a certain extent, let's say Cam Ward, Drake May, that kind of talent, Shedeur, regardless of the collateral things around him, would not have dropped out of the first round. The NFL is going to take talent regardless, all right? Generally speaking, unless there's some kind of criminal issue, and in some cases, we know they ignore that as well. All right? The line of demarcation was the Steelers, and the Steelers passed on him. And at that point, it was pretty much known, unless the Giants was to shock everybody, or unless the Browns were to shock everybody, this is what was about to happen. He was about to fall out. So, Shedeur did come out, make some comments last night. Here we go.
We all didn't expect this, of course, but I feel like with God, anything possible, everything possible. I don't feel like this happened, for no reason. All this is of course, fuel to the fire. And under no circumstance, we all know this shouldn't have happened. But we understand we're on the bigger and better things. Tomorrow's the day. We're going to be happy regardless. Legendary.
All right. I'm going to give him credit for standing up in front of a bunch of people that showed up to a draft party and making a statement. I mean, that's a hard situation to be in at that point. And I get it. I mean, that's a rough one, right? So my next thought was, okay, where do the Steelers draft next? Because they don't have a second-round pick. All right? They traded the second-round pick for DK Metcalf. Now, there's rumors of George Pickens being on the trade block, but I'm thinking to myself, well, if you sign Aaron Rodgers, do you really not want to have DK Metcalf and George Pickens for him to throw to? Because I would think you would, personally speaking. You got a real shot. Well, so this is right here, the Steelers' draft picks. They took Derek Harmon, DT, out of Oregon, and we thought it would be a defensive lineman, and there we are. Round 3, they got number 83. Round 4, number 123. Is there a world where maybe they could, put together their third and maybe this fifth and move back into the second round? Could they take Shedeur? I guess they could. They could do something like that. Is there a world where Cleveland could decide to jump back in this joker and take him? Absolutely. Now, do I expect him to? Do I expect the Cleveland Browns to? Do I expect the Steelers to? Steelers, maybe. The Cleveland Browns, and I may be wrong about this. Now, of course, they shocked the world by trade. Look, they had to accept the trade offer. And I thought Travis Hunter was the most talented guy. He was the number one guy in the draft, as far as I was concerned. And, but they took a haul. Now, I don't love the Mason Graham pick at 5. I don't. But okay. I mean, look, Andrew Berry couldn't turn away that kind of a draft haul. I get it. And, this is it for Trevor Lawrence. You got plenty of talent there in Jacksonville. You better show your ass this year, or they'll be drafting somebody else possibly next year. All right. And we know Liam Cohen did good work with Baker Mayfield. Baker had far and away his best year, and that was coming off the Dave Canales year, where it was a really good bounce back year. Nonetheless, the guys that you're looking for that's going to work with Shedeur are going to be your pocket passer guys. And I'm talking about coaches, right? All right. Daboll wanted a more mobile guy. Kevin Stefanski, absolutely. The Browns, absolutely. But you do have problems there. All right. He's got an average arm. Not super strong, right? He's not super big, and he's going to be playing in the NFC or the AFC North. So that could be an issue. I still believe they take Tyler Shuck out of Louisville, the Cleveland Browns. He's got a big arm. He's really mobile, and he's played a ton of football. So has Shedeur. I like that. All right. I was talking to somebody yesterday on X, and unfortunately, whether anybody likes it or not, Deion being overly involved is a problem for NFL personnel, front offices, and coaches. Particularly coaches that could potentially be on the hot seat. All right? They're going to look over their shoulder, and they got Deion who's willing to make public statements about his kid. They don't want to deal with it. And that's a problem here. It is. All right? Again, none of this would matter if he had elite talent. He does not. All right? He does not. Is there a world in the right situation he becomes a good 12 to 18 kind of starter in the NFL? Yeah. If he is in the right situation. All right? Kevin Stefanski, perfect. Kevin O'Connell would be another good one, but he's got J.J. McCarthy. That's not going to happen. If we were having this draft this year, I would have Shedeur behind J.J. McCarthy. So if J.J. would have been in the draft, you get my point. And so I don't know where he ends up. If the Steelers had a second-round pick, that would be the natural landing point. Now, Seattle Seahawks are thought to be in the quarterback market. Sam Howell's on the trade block. Seattle Seahawks is a place that you could look at besides the Browns, right? So we'll have to see. I don't think Dallas would get involved here. I don't. But stranger things have happened. I think Joe Milton is going to end up taking Dak Prescott's job. Probably not this year, but you never know if there's an injury, because I do think ultimately Joe Milton can play in the NFL and be a starter and be a good one. So I'm just throwing that out there. Tell me what you think. Shedeur Sanders. Wow. It went down exactly like it did. ESPN fully embarrassed themselves last night. Mel Kiper, Louis Riddick losing their minds, crying over Shedeur. I had the NFL Network broadcast going. Then on my television, I had the Todd McShay live stream going. And the chat on the Todd McShay show live stream was murdering the ESPN, Kiper, and Riddick for crying their eyes out over Shedeur Sanders. It was embarrassing last night. Keep in mind, Mel Kiper had him as the first overall pick at one point during the college football season, if I'm not going crazy. He had literally had Shedeur number 1 on his board. Woof. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.